And you are looking live at sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. And why the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Or if anybody spends any time watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually check on the chat box. I try to like every 5 or 10 minutes. So anything I see, but gets put in there, I try to respond to as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus, sometimes I'm just, I just go on and on for like 30 minutes or longer. It's nice just to chat with somebody, you know what I mean? So please feel free, fire away. Now, before we get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first membership level is called the Saquon. Second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. All right, so if anybody wants to help support my channel, thank you. It would mean so much to me. Now, if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. If you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way, next time I go live and put out a video, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? As I said, if you are subscribed, thank you. Any support I can get, I greatly appreciate it. So once again, thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. Okay, the top one takes you to my Facebook. It's a group. Okay, it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. Now, basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, and my Facebook page, it's all called the same thing, the New York Giants, the Gridiron. Why? Well, it's because an idiot like me, I can remember. I don't have to. What's the YouTube channel? What's my Facebook? It's all pretty much called the same thing. New York Giants, the Gridiron. Right now, we have over 2,800 members in the group. Okay, it's 7 days a week. Basically, when I get done with this video here, I'm going to start putting stuff in the group and in my page, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But it's 7 days a week. I put stuff in here. I try to get close to 10 things in there every day. Sometimes, like during the regular season, there's a ton of stuff going on. I get well over 10 things in there every day, whether it's a picture, a post, a video, something making fun of the Cowboys, something making fun of the Eagles, whatever. But I try to get at least 10 things in there every day. All right. And I said 7 days a week. And not only in the group, okay, not only do I post stuff, but the members post stuff in there as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of stuff going in the group every day. Okay. Then the second link in the description box below takes you to my Facebook page. Okay. Once again, for an idiot like me, it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a page. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one to post anything in there, okay? But, I said it's the same thing. I try to put at least 10 things in there every day, right? Right now we have 927 people who like the page, and over 3,700 people are following the page, all right? And I said, I put stuff in the group and the page every day, but I try not to like commingle them. So basically, whatever stuff I put in the page, I don't put in the group, and vice versa. Whatever I put in the group does not go in the page for the most part. All right. So between the two, all right, you get a ton of New York Giants information every day, right? So go to the page, like it and follow it, and go to the group and become a member. All right. And between the two, as I say, you get a ton of stuff. As I always say, if you're not satisfied, you get your money back, guaranteed. All right, with all that stuff said and done, out of the way with. I'll tell you what, I was surprised, really surprised. But it just goes to show you, because we're going back to 1936, okay, a long time ago. All right, a sort of article it shows about what schools the Giants have drafted the most players from, right? And I said number one was I was just kind of, whew. But the thing is that, the schools they drafted the most players from, okay, they've only drafted since 1966, including 1966. Okay, so we're talking, quite a while, 56 years or so, right? So since like 1956, 66, the Giants have only drafted, 2 players from this one column. I'm gonna go there, get there first. But they got the list of the 10 top teams, colleges. All right, the Giants tied for 10th. The Giants have drafted. Now I'm not sure if this is up to the minute. I'm not exactly sure what. I don't know if this includes like recent drafts or exactly what. I'm not sure. Yeah, 23 Giants. Yeah, I guess so. The only thing I'm because they have. Well, I'll go over it in a minute. Tied for 10th, they got the Giants at Syracuse. They've drafted 18 players from Syracuse. Justin Pugh. They have a picture of Justin Pugh. Okay, he would be one of them. All right. Then, as I said, I was tied for 10th. Also tied for 10th, okay, would be LSU. And they got a picture of OBJ. Okay, so they've drafted 18 players. Okay. 18 players from Syracuse and 18 players from LSU. Okay. And so that would be like the numbers 9 and number 10, right? Basically. So the 8th most players they drafted 19 players from Michigan State. And of course, they have a picture here of the great Carl Banks. Okay. Then, I guess it's tied. Okay. Tied for Michigan State is tied for 8th. They've drafted 19 players as well from Alabama. And they got a picture of Howard Cross here. Okay. So Michigan State and Alabama tied for 8th with 19 players. Okay. Then we go to 20 players drafted from Ohio State. And they got a picture of Jonathan Hankins, okay, here when he was with the New York Giants, right? They drafted 21 players from Michigan, all right, which would be, let's see, 8, 7, 6. I guess this would be, I guess, the 5th most would be 21 players from Michigan. They got a picture of Amani Toomer here. Then they got Notre Dame, I guess would be the 4th most, I guess maybe. You got a picture of Mark Bavaro here, all right? 22 players they've drafted from Notre Dame. Tied for 3rd, okay, is Brian Williams from Minnesota. Back in the day, they haven't drafted many from Minnesota lately, okay? But we're going back in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. They drafted a lot from Minnesota back then, okay? So tied for 3rd, they drafted 23 players from Minnesota. And as I said, they got a picture here of Brian Williams, all right, who they drafted in the first round of the 1989 draft. Okay, then tied for 3rd once again is Texas. They drafted 23 players from Texas, and they got a picture here of our phenomenal, very, very good pick that we drafted, okay, Aaron Ross, okay. I think he was 2007, I believe he was, right? Very, very good pick. You had him and you had Corey Webster. We had 2 very good, just solid cornerbacks. Not all pros, not Hall of Famers, nothing like that. But between Webster and Ross, 2 very solid cornerbacks, okay? So that was tied for 3rd, okay? And then you had, I guess 2nd place, I guess we have 24 players that the Giants drafted from USC, and they got Devin Kennard, okay? A picture of him, okay? So 24 players. I guess USC is the 2nd most players we got drafted from USC, 24, all right? But by far and away, I mean, this is like, I mean, the number one they got here, which makes me kind of scratch my head. They got 30 players drafted from Mississippi. So it's like not even close. And it's like not even, it's like not even, it's not like it's Alabama or it's a Mississippi. I mean, it's like Mississippi. What? And I know on the thumbnail, okay, anybody, we didn't draft Eli Manning. We drafted Phillip Rivers and we traded for Eli Manning. But that's why I just put that. That's why I put it in the thumbnail though, because everybody sees, Eli Manning from Mississippi. So, but I know we didn't draft Eli Manning. We drafted Phillip Rivers and we traded for Eli Manning. So Eli Manning is not in this list. But I got a list here. And it's got, they say 30 players we drafted from Mississippi. They have a picture here of Jimmy Patton, very good. We drafted him in 1955. He played in 1966. Very, very good defensive back for the Giants. Played in many, many championship games, 6 championship games, right? Very, very good player. But I got a play. They say 30 here. I got a list of 31 players the Giants drafted from Mississippi. Now we're going back to the first time they drafted a guy was in 1937 from Mississippi. Now the draft goes back to 36. Okay, they got Jim Poole in 1937. Then they drafted 2 guys from Mississippi in 1942. Junie Hovias, I'm going to say. Then they got Merle Hapes, 1942. Hovias was a halfback. Hapes was a fullback. 1944, they drafted 2 guys from Mississippi, Ollie Poole and Ray Poole. They were brothers, right? They drafted them 2 rounds apart. They were both defensive ends from Mississippi. They drafted Ray Poole in the 13th round. 2 rounds later, they drafted his brother, Ollie Poole, another defensive end. Crazy, right? Crazy. In the 1944 draft. 1948, they drafted Bill Erickson, who was a guard. 1950, they got Bill Stribling, an end. 1952, they drafted 2 guys, Rex Bogan, or Bogan. No, I'll say Bogan. Rex Bogan, a defensive tackle, and then Mel Sinkfield, a center. They drafted quite a few centers. Mississippi Paisley, a back. Bob McCool in 1950s. They drafted 2 guys in 56. Bob McCool was a back, and then they got Ed Crawford, who was a defensive back in 1956. 1957, they drafted another center from Mississippi, Jerry Stone. 1958, they drafted 3 guys from Mississippi. I guess they just wanted to draft the whole football team, right? Billy Hurst was a back. John West was a tackle, and Billy Lott was a fullback. 1958. 1959, they drafted another guy from Mississippi. Charlie Flowers was a fullback. Okay. George Blair in 1960, they drafted a defensive back. Bob Benton was a tackle. 1961, they drafted, was it just those guys? Let me see here. I'll put the page here. Yeah. In 61, once again, they drafted 3 guys from Mississippi in 1961. Bob Benton, a tackle. Alan Green, a kicker. And Jerry Daniels, an end. 1960, the next year, 1962. They drafted more guys. 2 more guys. Book Bolin, a guard. And Glenn Griffin, a quarterback. All right. And in 1964, they drafted another 2 guys. They got Frank Kennard, a halfback. Chuck Hinton, another center from Mississippi. Something with those Mississippi centers. All right. So Chuck Hinton was 1964. He was a center. 1965, they drafted Frank Lambert, who's a punter. Okay. So from 1937, the draft started in 36. So from 1937 to 1965, okay, basically, what we got, like 30 years they drafted, right? About the 30 years worth of drafts from 37 to 65, just close to 30 years. They drafted 29 players from Mississippi. 29. All right, so after 1965, so including 1966, to right now, they've only drafted 2 guys from Mississippi. 1989, Rodney Lowe, who's a defensive end from Mississippi. And then, of course, 2017, we drafted our first-round pick was Evan Ingram, right? Then, of course, as I said, you throw the picture out there with, Eli Manning. But I know we never drafted him. We drafted Phillip Rivers and traded for Eli Manning. But just goes to show you, I mean, how things were back in the day. Also, Minnesota, we drafted a lot of players from Minnesota. Also, back in the day, way back then, the 40s and the 50s, a lot of players from Mississippi State too. We haven't drafted anybody from Mississippi State. I don't know when, but it just goes to show you. I mean, how the schools have changed and all that and everything. But I mean, and since 1966, I mean, I got 31 guys that we've drafted from Mississippi. since the beginning, 1936 to 2022, 31 guys. And that article, they have 30 guys, but whatever. But I mean, it's just interesting to see. I mean, from 1966 to 2022, we only drafted 2 guys from Mississippi. We had a ton of them back in the day, ton of them. That just goes to show you, right? I mean, nowadays, I mean, there's, obviously it's a lot of, Alabama and Ohio State, a lot of guys like that, but not much from Mississippi lately. But then finally, all right, I also sort of John Mara. I got to tip my cap to him, because this article here, he's vehemently opposed to the Thursday night flexing. It's all about the Benjamins. That's all it is. I mean, it's like, Jeff Bezos from Amazon. They got the games on Thursday night. And remember the way it was? It was like when the Thursday night game started. Right. It used to be like every team played one time. That's all. You're only playing one time. Every team played. Right. Basically we had while we had the first Thursday, and I guess maybe, I don't know if that didn't count, maybe, I guess, right, or what. But it was like, they got 32 teams, right? The first Thursday night was the opening night, which freaking love it, dude. I mean, you got you're gonna have the Chiefs. I don't know who the Chiefs are gonna be playing, but bring it on, baby. Yeah, I love it. Oh, it's freaking awesome. So you got Thursday night, you got the defending Super Bowl champions, right? And they'll be playing another good. The Chiefs aren't going to be playing, Tennessee Tech. I mean, it's not. Whoever they're playing is going to be. It's going to be a game. You know what I mean? You have a lot of people watching in the TV, but I mean, it just seems like as time going by, because everybody played, one time, whoever the Giants played, maybe the Redskins or whoever it was at the Washington football team, whoever, you played one time and that was it. You were done. Okay. Now it had the good points and the bad points, because basically if you played Sunday, then you got to play Thursday. The guys are freaking beat up and all that stuff. It's kind of tough, especially late in the season. I mean, everybody's banged up and nicked up. And I mean, the only way you're not nicked up is if you haven't played at all. I mean, if you're on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid every game, I mean, or if you're the backup quarterback and you got the headset on, you got the clipboard and all that, and you haven't taken a snap or anything, okay, maybe you're not banged up. Everybody else is banged up. If you've taken a couple snaps, you're freaking banged up. You got toward the end of the season, right? I mean, like, whatever, weeks 13, 14, 15, I mean, you guys are banged up. So then you're going to be playing a game on Sunday, and then you got to go play on Thursday. That's tough. Now, to the bright side of that, right, is, of course, you play Thursday, so now you played the Sunday and the Thursday. Now you're, I'm sure, tired, banged up and all that, but now you got like 10 days off, right? So that's certainly a plus, okay? But it's just now they're talking about like flexing, because I guess Amazon, I don't know, the guy Jeff Bezos wasn't happy. Some of the matchups weren't, up to par or whatever it was. But I just remember the way it was, every team played on a Thursday night, and you had a bunch of crappy games. You had Jacksonville playing the Texans. You had the Texans were 3-10, and Jacksonville was 4-9, and that was your game. That's the way it is. Every team played once on Thursday night. That was your punishment, or however you want to look at it, right? Every team played once. The Cowboys played somebody, and that was it. If you had two crappy teams, you had two crappy teams. That's the way it was. But I'm not sure Bezos is like maybe not happy. Maybe he's trying to throw some money the NFL's way so he can get some of those ratings up or whatever it is. I'm not exactly sure. But now, of course, they're talking about flexing, games, from like a Sunday to a Thursday, changing it up, because I guess it gets toward the end of the season, right? And you got week 14 and 15 or whatever it might be. And, once again, I said, you got the Texans who are like, 2-12 going up against, say, the Jaguars who are 3-11. Ain't nobody watching that. I ain't watching that. I mean, if you watch that, God bless you. I'll give you all the credit in the world. You might have the Jaguar fans. You might have the Texan fans, right? The only other fans you might have would be like anybody else, like if they're bidding for like the number one seed, the number one draft pick. You know, if you're like a Bear fan and say you got 2 wins too, you're pulling for, you know what I mean? You're pulling for the one team that has 2 wins to get 3 wins, you know, so you can get the number one pick, you know what I mean? But other than that, I mean, who else watching the game, right? I mean, the ratings got to stink. So I guess they're trying to get it now, or maybe, you know, they can, you know, the game looks kind of crappy. Let's flex in. You know, let's get some good teams in there. You know, put that crappy game on Sunday, and you know what I mean. Now, you know, I got to, you know, John Mara is vehemently opposed to it, and I got to give him a lot of credit. Apparently, I think it needed 24 votes. I guess maybe 3/4 majority. I guess. Well, I think what I heard. Here's what I heard. It was 22 voted for it. 8 were against it and 2 didn't vote on it, I think it was. Well, apparently they might be bringing it back up again. I think they're supposed to have like some more meetings. I think it was like in May after the schedule comes out in April, right? They're supposed to have like some more meetings in May, and they might bring it up again, and it might wind up passing. Who knows? But, you know, I got to give Mr. Mara a lot of credit on this one, because this one, you know, not with the Giants, okay, but I can relate to this. I like Notre Dame. That's my college team. Giants, bleeding blue, brother, right? And Notre Dame. Those are the 2 teams I grew up. When I 1970 or 71, the first time I saw Notre Dame on the field, they had the gold helmets. I was a kid. I'm like 6, 7 years old. I was like, holy, oh, that's some cool looking helmets. You know what I mean? I was just enamored. And I like, even the name was Notre Dame. You know, it wasn't like, you know, a state, you know, like Michigan or Ohio or California. It was Notre Dame. It just sounded so cool. And the gold helmets, I was like, holy fuck, that is so cool. So I've always liked Notre Dame. My son, he likes Texas. Okay. So in 2015 and 2016, Notre Dame and Texas played a home and home. Okay. 2015, Notre Dame was the home team. First game of the season, right? Texas goes into Notre Dame. Me and my son, we go. All right, we watched the game. We flew out there, okay, and we drove, and then we I don't know, we were like about an hour or so away. So we rented a car. We drove out to the stadium. It's freaking awesome. We got a tour of the stadium and all that stuff and everything. But the game was on Saturday night, right? Okay, because it was the first weekend. So basically, you know, after what the preseason gets done with, like on Thursday for the football, for the NFL. Well, then that weekend, that's when college. So you get some Sunday games, you get some Saturday games, you know, however they want to do it. Well, this was a Saturday game, so we went out there, saw it on Saturday, right? Notre Dame won, okay. So then the following season, okay, it was a home and home. So the following season, first game of the season, Notre Dame plays in Texas. So son likes Texas. I like Notre Dame. You know, we didn't see a pro game that year because, you know, I mean, the prices of the tickets and all this stuff, it was just, you know, a little expensive, right? So we saw we got to see the one game. So we flew down to Texas, okay, rented a car and all that stuff and everything. But the game was on a Saturday. It was the first Saturday, okay, of college football. Well, somewhere along the line, okay, you know, I had to buy airline tickets to go down there. I had to get a hotel room, right? We got the tickets, and you know, we had to rent a car and all that stuff. So I did all that stuff a couple months in advance. Got the tickets, the hotel, rented a car, all that stuff in advance. Well, about 2 weeks before, okay, the game was getting ready to play, okay. My son, I don't know if he's on his ESPN app or on ESPN on his phone or something like whatever. He's like, yeah, hey, Dad, you know the game's on Sunday? And I'm like, no, Dad, no, dude. I'm like, Notre Dame, Texas, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, no, it's Saturday. Yeah, we got the tickets. Yeah, it's Saturday. It's the first Saturday. It's like, no, Dad, they changed the game. I'm like, are you, what? So I guess what it was, I don't remember offhand who was playing Saturday, because actually me and my son, we were down there Saturday. We were watching the games on TV. We went to a bar, I guess, and all that. We were watching some of the games. So there were some good games on Saturday, but I guess they wanted to, you know, get Notre Dame in Texas because Notre Dame draws, Alabama draws, Clemson, some of those bigger schools draw, but Notre Dame, even though they stink and all that stuff, they draw. you know, I mean, or they don't necessarily stink, but, you know, they have a hard time winning a national championship, but they draw TV, right? So they took the game from Saturday, all right, and they put it on Sunday. So I'm like, right. So now I had to go and had to change the hotel, right? I had to call up, and we were supposed to come in on Friday, okay, and we wound up coming on Saturday, and we had to wind up leaving on Monday. So I had to change that up. Then I had to cancel my flight. Right. Thankfully, there was another flight that it was a different time and all. Okay. But I had to change. But I lost money there because I don't think I insured it. And I had to cancel it. So basically we weren't going in there Friday. We were landing Saturday and we were leaving Monday. So that cost me some money. So, I mean, it's just kind of like what Mr. Maurer is kind of talking about, you know, right here is that, you know, you know, where's the point where we actually start thinking about the people who actually go to the games, right? I said, you know, the example I said with the Notre Dame in Texas, they changed it from a Saturday to a Sunday, right? Just that one day, but it's still, I mean, you know, I had a plan. I'm you know, some people drive there. Some people live an hour or two away. You know, they can just drive there on a Sunday, right? You know, don't matter if it's Saturday or Sunday. But what about the people who fly there, right? Rent the hotel room and all this stuff. What you know, where's the point where we actually start thinking about those people? And that's what one thing I read. It was a couple of articles where John Maurer was talking about. You know what I mean? Where do we start thinking about the people? You know what I mean? People who do this stuff in months in advance, right? Because especially around, like, you know, you get big games in certain areas of the country, right? You want to, you know, try to get a hotel reasonably close. Now, if you get something reasonably close and it's a big game, obviously the rates go, you know, sky high. So, I mean, you can find a hotel, but if you want to be like an hour and a half or 2 hours away from the stadium, okay. But if you want to be somewhat reasonably close, you know, you want to try to call in early and get something early, you know, and that's what I had to do. You know, thankfully, when we were down in Texas, they had an extra room that they canceled our one and they gave us another room. Okay. But, you know, where's the point where we actually think about those people? I mean, you know, it's all about this. It's all it's about. It's all about ratings. It's all about money. It's all that they don't think about, you know, the people that, you know, what Mr. Maurer was talking about in this article, right? About, you know, the people that book the hotel rooms, right? Book the, maybe rent a car, you know, book their airline tickets. I mean, with me, it wasn't too bad because it was just one day. Here they want to flex them from like Sunday back to Thursday. So, I mean, you know, basically you got to wipe everything out. I mean, you do this in advance, right? Yeah. And a lot of people, you know, you might want to go to a good game, right? I mean, you pick a good juicy game. Well, me and my son, we're going to go to see the Cowboys this year. We're going to go probably see them play Buffalo. That might be a good juicy game. If that's late in the season, hell, they might be flexing that one back to Thursday. I mean, we're screwed. I mean, it's unbelievable. The tickets will still be good, so that's not a problem there. But at least we'll be driving there from here to Buffalo. It's still 5-6 hours. But I mean, if we were flying across the country and we booked an airline ticket, right, to land on, say, Saturday and leave on Monday, well, now we have to cancel all that so we can go. We have to come out on Thursday. I mean, really? I mean, come on. I mean, where's the point where we actually start thinking about, you know, the people who put their asses in the, you know, in the stands, right? I mean, it's expensive. It's very, very expensive. You would kind of think that the people who actually paid the money to go see the game, the people that actually pay $38 to buy a hot dog, $30 to buy a bottle of water, you know, we kind of actually think that maybe they would actually think about those people, right? I mean, they don't. All they think about is all about the money. It's the people sitting at home, okay, you know, with the remote controls. They want more and more of those people, right, watching. They want, you know, they don't want the Thursday night duds. And I can understand. I can get it. But I mean, that's not the way it was when Thursday night football started. I mean, everybody played once. You had to play once, and there were just some crappy games. It just is what it is, you know. I mean, but I mean, you know, it sounds like I guess the Amazon, the guy Jeff Bezos is not totally 100% happy with I guess the way things are going. But as of right now, okay, the Thursday night flexing hasn't passed, but unfortunately, it's probably just a matter of time. I mean, to me, I'll watch the football no matter what because I'm at home, so it's no big deal to me. I mean, if I'm watching who I'm watching on Thursday night, if I'm going to watch a game on Thursday night, I'll watch a game. I mean, whoever it is, But when do we actually think about the people? I mean, I got to go. Let's say my son and I went to. And this is my stupidity. I'm the one paid for the tickets. So, I'm not blaming anybody. It is what it is. But my son and I, we went to New England the last time when the Cowboys played in New England to see Tom Brady play. Actually, we saw Tom Brady play the Cowboys 2 times in a row. It was 2019. We went to New England. 2020 was the COVID year. We couldn't go. 2021, we saw the Cowboys play the Buccaneers in Tampa. And once again, it was Tom Brady. But in 2019, all right, we went to New England. Okay. We got 50-yard line seats, but we were about 10 rows from the top, right? It cost me about $1,500. Once again, my stupidity, I paid for it. I get it. It is what it is. But I'm saying, but almost like with the ticket master fees. I can't remember if I got it from StubHub or Ticketmaster, whatever it was. But 2019, we went to see the Patriots and the Cowboys play in New England. It was pouring rain. It was pouring. It was like 38 degrees. If it was like 3 or 4 degrees colder, it would have been like 300 feet of snow. It was horrible. It was a cold, brutal game. But I mean, we were about 10 rows, 15 rows, maybe from the top of the stadium, right around on the 50-yard line. But it was like with the fees and all that, it was about $1,500 to see for 2 tickets, $1,500. And that wasn't including like parking, or if we wanted to buy a couple of hot dogs or a couple of some coffee or anything like that, or some beers or something. I mean, $1,500 for 2 tickets. I mean, I could have spent less, obviously, some, in another part of the stadium, but we wanted to be, decent seats. But we were like 15 rows from the top. It was almost $1,500. My point is, once again, when did the people start thinking of people like that? Right? It's a shame. Unfortunately, the more and more time goes by, right, the more and more of a, it's about the the almighty Benjamin. And it's a shame because it's taken a really, really the best sport in the world to me. The team sport in the world, right? And it's kind of smearing some mud in its face a little bit. It's a shame now. But anyway, well, guys, it's been 33 minutes. Anybody spent any time watching me? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Somebody gave me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching the replay of this, once again, thank you, thank you, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!